A little while ago, I was sitting on YouTube thinking, what should I watch? There are myriads of videos on this site that I've never seen, never even heard of, and it still seems impossible to find anything I like. So, there I was, scouring around for a little bit when I stumbled upon one of my old videos. As I started watching, I was really having a good time. I started watching a few of my videos back to back and realized I'm probably the best content creator on this platform. Okay, maybe that wasn't the realization. I'm the second best, but as I went through, I ended up in the comments section of a lot of my old videos and I realized a lot of things. Firstly, I never really had a lot of hate come my way. Even with the Console Peasant Quotes series, I was typically approached by open-minded statements. Yeah, Barry, fine, you think this way, but let me offer you a different perspective on consoles. And I forgot how often that mentality made it into my comments section. See, watching these old videos was like watching me grow up again. I went from talking about 3 random things I disliked to sharing stories from my life in high school or funny moments from when I was at work. I loved how I used to speak in these videos. Kinda clumsy and awkward, but somehow so confident as well. I always tried to make my voice deeper and softer, so the video would seem as highest quality as possible. See, I was under the impression that people watched my videos because I had a nice voice and I put a lot of effort into the content. I was under the impression that if a video got any views at all, it was a fluke. These people who watched me didn't watch because of Barry, they watched because Barry was talking about something they wanted to hear about. And in a way, that's entirely true, but it never really occurred to me that you guys might be watching because of the guy behind the script. Even when I'd make videos thanking the community for being there, I always wondered how many people who saw that video really cared. I just figured if I made a Console Peasant Quotes every week and I talked about the games industry, then I'd be fine. That was easy too, as I was passionate about video games. I figured I could do that forever. Now, I don't know if you're gonna believe me here, I mean it's so out of character for me, but the other day when I was watching my videos on YouTube, I was high. Shocking, right? But there were a few things about this that are important. First of all, when I'm high, I don't really have an attachment to my old videos. It was in a way kind of like stumbling upon the channel, and I really enjoyed it from a different angle that I never had before. It was kind of like being able to be a subscriber, just an average viewer of BulletBarry and getting to see what it was like from an outside view. And I was kind of shocked. See, I know I made that joke earlier about being the best YouTuber, but I really did enjoy my content, and it was because of how it was made. Here you have a guy writing a script about video games, which isn't too difficult to find on this platform, but the intro was always some sort of story. Something that drew the viewer into my thought process behind the video. I didn't just have a point and go off willy-nilly, I had a coworker who said something idiotic and it gave me a video idea, or I'd be telling a story from high school or my childhood. It always started similarly. So the other day I was hanging out with a friend of mine. And as simple as that intro is, it always added a lot to these videos. That, my clever little puns that you guys love so much, but as I watched through, it became apparent to me that from the beginning, those who watched my content, those who commented on every video, and those who shared my work didn't often do it because some rando on the internet had a good point. But you guys legitimately liked me as a person. You guys were watching me because you liked me, not because of the titles. I mean, yeah, there are those Console Peasant Quote guys out there, but you guys are the ones who really did care, and that touches me in places you could never understand. Oh god, you get that picture too? Sorry about that. But how ignorant of me to not realize this sooner. And I kinda made a bit of a fool of myself in this regard, specifically as I became more popular too. Well, what do you mean by that, Barry? And in order to get into this, I have to give you a few examples. See, take a video like Developers and Publishers I'll Never Support. I made this video back in 2016 before I had very many subscribers. Just watch how this video starts off. So a while ago, this guy named Michael comes up to me. Now Michael is in a computer science major at a community college, and he's the type of person who thinks he's right about everything. He comes up to me and starts talking about his dual 970 build and how amazing GTA 5 looks because of his combined video RAM. No, Michael, that's not how it works. Almost everything else stacks, but video RAM does not. And he argued that in GTA 5, it says that he has 8 gigabytes of VRAM at his disposal, which should be a red flag because the 970 only has 3.5 gigabytes of usable VRAM. But regardless, I look it up and we find out that he's wrong. But, and he always says this, he goes, "Aw man, they lied to me." Another thing he once did is out of the blue, one day he's holding his phone and he says, not only is the iPhone the fastest phone out there, but it also has the best camera of any phone. Buddy, look, I know you like your phone and that's fine, but being a fanboy is beneath you. I had the same iPhone you have, the iPhone 5, and it has an 8 megapixel camera. My new phone has a 16 megapixel camera, And mine has two processors, one dual core running at 1.82 gigahertz and a quad core running at 1.44, whereas your phone has one dual core running at 1.3. To which he replies, "No, but you don't understand. Apple has magic," yes, he said magic, software that makes the camera and processor even better than the new phones are running on the market. And they upgrade them through patches as the phone ages. I gave up, and every time he would talk about PC specs or phone specs, I wouldn't correct him because people like that entertain me, and they're beyond help. Now, why am I talking about Michael? Well, a while ago, he came up to me and he said that I should get an Xbox One. When I asked him why I should ever do that, he told me Black Ops 3. Now, I'm a PC gamer. I've been so for a few years now, and when I play games that come out on all platforms, I play them on the PC. So why in the world would I buy a game for the Xbox that I could get a better experience out of on the PC? And this was his answer. Because you won't get a better experience. Not only is the Xbox community the most competitive, but the game is broken on all other platforms. This enraged me. I hate when developers do this, and I hate when fanboys think it's a win. This is never a win. This is bad for all of us. And he made me realize what kind of developers I will never support. And here they are. See, in this video is an example of what I was talking about earlier. Not only did I have a point, but I had an experience to share. I let my subscribers into the situation so they could see where I was coming from, and how I drew the conclusions that I did. Now, yeah, half the video was me sharing a story, but as time went on and my channel started to grow, this aspect of my content became less and less frequent. Bitcoin has been a very popular topic for quite some time. I always heard about it being thrown around, and I always knew it was some sort of digital currency, but I never really knew what it was, or how to get any. It was back in high school when I first heard about it, and to be honest, I didn't care. Really wish I would have cared though, because if I would have just spent a measly $100 on Bitcoin back in 2010, it would be worth almost $75 million today. So what is Bitcoin? Boring! Jeez, and let me tell you, there were many of my subscribers who tried telling me that they missed the old Barry, that he'd gone and become generic, and I never understood why they thought something was missing. Funnily enough, it honestly wasn't until that day where I was sitting through watching my old videos and got closer to my new content that I even noticed the change. It's kind of amazing how you can get burnt out on something and not even realize the passion fled. I was blissfully ignorant of the whole thing, and I even thought that the viewers wanted less and less Barry personality as my channel grew. I'd strive to make it as professional, relatable, and perpetually relevant as possible, and in doing so I killed the very thing that made BulletBarry fun, the heart behind the scripts. Back in 2019, I left for Vietnam, and I was gone for almost 5 months. During that time, I lived. I had experiences that I never could have had here, and I was so content, but I still felt a lot of pressure from YouTube. It was at this time that I began to leave my channel behind. I had this feeling that nobody from the BulletBarry channel would even miss me. They were only there for the console peasant quotes anyway. If I disappeared, who'd even care? So I left. In my mind, that was it. I was done. That thought did haunt me a bit though. I'd have thoughts about starting a podcast or vlogging my adventures out there in Nam, but I always kicked myself out of the idea. Why would you think anyone would want to listen to you? What podcast could you even make that'd be interesting enough? You're so afraid to even tell your community why you really went to Vietnam, or about your recent psychedelic experiences. I fabricated this idea that nobody really cared, and if they did hear about what I'd done, they'd just call me a druggie, say that I'd become insane, or just leave entirely. And I let those thoughts dictate my actions. I abandoned you guys, and in my head, I was justified. After I'd gotten back from Vietnam, I tried getting a few jobs around my area. I trimmed weed for a little bit, got a job at Best Buy and a solar power company for a while, and my idea was to just work until I bought a van and then take off. This brings us full circle to that fateful night. There I was, sitting at my desk watching YouTube and smoking weed. I stumbled upon BulletBarry and I enjoyed his videos. I remembered why I made them in the first place, and the comment section was always so warm and inviting. My subscribers were always so happy when I released a video, so appreciative, almost as though I'd offered them something that made their week better, and all with just 6 minutes of me chatting into a microphone while a video game played in the background. It was almost like fate, as the very next day was the day my decision was made for me. I'd been working at Best Buy at the time when a coworker walked up to me. "Hey Barry, you used to be a YouTuber, right?" "Yeah," I replied. "Have you seen how much people make on YouTube? That'd be a dream job, right? Being able to live anywhere you want, having a community that keeps you going, and being able to express yourself any way you wish? Why would anyone give that up?" "Well," I said, feeling like a complete fool, "thank you for that decision," and I walked into my boss's office and quit right then and there. See, it wasn't about the money or the fame anymore. My mind had been washed to that foul mentality from living in Vietnam, and once I started making videos again, I remembered why I was so passionate about it in the first place. Writing scripts, speaking my mind, refining my thoughts, and being able to have an open and honest platform to share some of my more intense stories that I haven't even shared with some of my closest friends. But the biggest part, the thing that I forgot, an aspect of YouTube that I'd taken for granted to a degree that I could never excuse. So a few weeks ago, I made a video about my van. I told you guys about my plans to travel across America, but as I showed off my van, I showed how much work I'd have to do beforehand. This van is certainly going to be a lot of work, and I was a bit stressed out about that. I gotta be honest, I'm a computer guy. I don't know much about engines or transmissions or cyclodefibrillators and flux capacitors or whatever the hell a car is made out of. So I took it to a local mechanic and had him look it over. I asked him what it would cost me to get some of the wiring cleaned up and the engine looked after, and he told me that they'd ask over $100 an hour. He said I'd be looking at about $500 just to get everything looked over, and then they could get started on the actual work. Imagine stressed out. I almost wanted to say screw this van and buy a new one, but then I got home and checked my email. In my inbox was an email from a man named Adam, which read, "Hey Barry, for the engine in your van, I'm including a section of the service manual for a 95 Legacy. This has most everything you need in order to work on that engine, down to rebuilding it from scratch. The pipes that were open on your intake manifold went to the evap canister, part of the emission system from the Subaru that it came from. As long as the other end of those pipes aren't connected to the intake manifold, they're fine to be left open. Or you can get some rubber plugs to cover them and make them look a little better. And hey, if you want some help working on the van, I'm a retired mechanic, and I can lend a hand or show you how to do stuff." This was amazing, and after chatting with this guy back and forth for a bit, I went to his house and we looked over the van. This guy specializes in Subaru engines, which was completely unexpected and exactly what I needed. I chatted with Adam for about an hour before I started telling him about myself. "Yeah, I was a Jehovah's Witness for 19 years, I said. "Yeah, I know," he replied. "You know? How many videos of mine did you watch?" To which he replied, "I've been watching BulletBarry since the Walmart stories. I've actually seen you in town a few times before and never approached you. I thought it'd be a bit strange." Now, besides this being an incredible story, this is the thing that I took for granted. You guys are my guys. Never in all my life could I have ever imagined strangers to treat me so well, and how could I have ever forgotten? You guys sent me Steam cards so I could level up in Steam and add people to my friends list. You guys gifted me your favorite games so I could play them with you. You guys made me fan art, YouTube banners. One of my best friends online I met because he simply wanted to sponsor my channel and watch it grow. Some of you even reached out to help me develop merch in the past, and honestly, this channel is more yours than it is mine. And when I came to that realization, my heart exploded. Now, I've met a few of my subscribers already. I met one at Best Buy a few years ago, and even cooler, I got to work with him while I was there. I met some of you as I've been walking around town. I met my friend Muttley when I went and visited him in the UK. I met my friend William when he came and visited me from across the country. And now recently it's Adam. I know I have this van, and I have plans to travel across America, which is a great opportunity to meet more of you, but I want to do you one better. A long while ago, I made some giveaway videos, and my favorite part about them was seeing who my subscribers were. I never did that whole pick a number and whoever's closest wins, or hit that sub button, like, comment, and share for your chance to win, or any of that tacky, beggy YouTuber crap. Seriously, any YouTubers want to fight me on this? Come at me. No, I always had you guys make videos. When I gave away that 1060 graphics card, I had you guys make videos telling me why you needed it. When I gave away those keyboards, same thing, and I got to see a lot of your guys' personalities out of those videos. I don't have anything to give away at this time, unfortunately, but if you're brave enough, I'd like to meet you. Make a short video introducing yourself. Tell me why you're still around. What's made you stay with this channel for so long? Tell me about yourself. What are you into? What makes you tick? And I'll compile a few of them together and share them with all of you. If you want to be part of a video, now's your chance. But more realistically, this is my chance. My chance to finally meet some of you and see who's on the other side of the screen. Not too fair that you guys get to know me so well and I don't know you. If you do make a video, I've made a post on my Reddit for all those links. Please post it there, as links in YouTube's comment sections are typically deleted. I know this video is long and sappy, but what can I say? I'm so lucky to have been part of all this, and if you told me you'd trade my channel with Jake Paul or PewDiePie or some other famous rich boy, I'd turn you down in a second. I spent the past 4 years trying my hardest to make as much money as I could, and all it did was make me miserable. Made me take for granted the things that I love most. In my greed, I'd forgotten that I already had the thing I wanted. An open-minded group of people that I could talk to about my weirdest ideas and who'd offer me theirs back. I wouldn't trade that for anything. Well, you're kind of dumb, Barry, to not trade your dying channel for PewDiePie's, and I guess that's true, but lest we forget, everything is person to person. Bye, guys.